Albert Einstein was one of the most brilliant and influential mathematical physicists in human history. Even 62 years after his passing, he is still widely regarded as the prototypical genius. 5 things you may not know about Albert Einstein. Einstein's brain was stolen after his death. Einstein died in April 1955 from an abdominal aortic aneurysm. He had requested that his body be cremated, but in a bizarre incident, Princeton pathologist Thomas Harvey removed his famous brain during his autopsy and kept it in the hope of unlocking the secrets of his genius. After winning a reluctant approval from Einstein's son, Harvey later had the brain cut into pieces and sent to various scientists for research. A handful of studies have been conducted on it since the 1980s, but most have either been dismissed or discredited. Perhaps the most famous came in 1999, when a team from a Canadian university published a controversial paper claiming Einstein possessed unusual folds on his parietal lobe, a part of the brain associated with mathematical and spatial ability. Number 2. He was asked to be president of Israel. Though not traditionally religious, Einstein felt a deep connection to his Jewish heritage, and often spoke out against anti-Semitism. He was never a staunch Zionist, but when head of state Chaim Weizmann died in 1952, the Israeli government offered to appoint him as the nation's second president. The 73-year-old wasted little time in declining the honor. "All my life I have dealt with objective matters," Einstein wrote in a letter to the Israeli ambassador, "hence I lack both the natural aptitude and the experience to deal properly with people, and to exercise official function." Number 3. The FBI spied on him for decades. Shortly before Hitler rose to power in 1933, Einstein left Berlin for the United States and took a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. His support for pacifist, civil rights and left-wing causes had already drawn suspicion from J. Edgar Hoover's FBI, and after his arrival on American shores, the Bureau launched what would eventually become a 22-year surveillance campaign. Agents listened to the physicist's phone calls, opened his mail and rooted through his trash in the hope of unmasking him as a subversive or a Soviet spy. They even investigated tips that he was building a death ray. The project came up empty-handed, but by the time Einstein died in 1955, his FBI file totaled a whopping 1,800 pages. Number 4. He offered his wife his Nobel Prize as part of their divorce settlement. After his marriage to Millie Vanmarek hit the rocks in the early 1910s, Einstein left his family, moved to Berlin, and started a new relationship with his cousin, Elsa. He and Marek finally divorced several years later in 1919. As part of their separation agreement, Einstein promised her an annual stipend plus whatever money he might receive from the Nobel Prize, which he was supremely confident he would eventually win. Marek agreed, and Einstein later handed over a small fortune upon receiving the award in 1922 for his work on the photoelectric effect. By then, he had already remarried to Elsa, who remained his wife until her death in 1936. Number 5. It took Einstein 9 years to get a job in academia. Einstein showed flashes of brilliance during his years at the Zurich Polytechnic, but his rebellious personality and penchant for skipping classes saw his professors give him less than glowing recommendations upon his graduation in 1900. The young physicist later spent 2 years searching for an academic position, before settling for a gig at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. Though menial, the job turned out to be a perfect fit for Einstein, who found he could breeze through his office duties in a few hours and spend the rest of the day writing and conducting research. In 1905, often called his miracle year, the lowly clerk published 4 revolutionary articles that introduced his famous equation E equals mc2 and the theory of special relativity. While the discoveries marked Einstein's entrance onto the physics world stage, he didn't win a full professorship until 1909, nearly a decade after he had left school. If you need more similar videos, you can subscribe to us. Video present by Did You Know? Thank you.